on, everybody? This is Hit A Metaphysical Lick, and I'm Nikki Montana. Nana. I'm doing something different today. I'm doing visual work with my podcast now. So I'm actually recording right now. I got the camera right smack in front of my face, and I want to be able to provide more of me to you guys. I want you guys to see kind of more of my personality, like when I talk and stuff like that. A lot of times on my podcast I'll write like how like an outline and like write what I've thought in my head onto the notepad, but I guess I'll kind of freestyle it today. I had some ideas, and obviously it's always cooler with people. I gotta get some more people on too, but we're gonna talk to me today, you know what I'm saying? What's good, baby? I have been making music like super heavy, and today I'm actually going to do a couple little previews of some songs that I've got going on, darling. Now let's take a moment to praise and bless thine self, because I can be a living example of you have these beautiful grand ideas, right? And you could be scared, whatever is stopping you from doing it. Usually it's you. I'm gonna say that. So usually you. And sometimes you gotta find out the hard way, the long way. Ooh, I don't know. I always say with time there ain't no telling, and I know I ain't telling. So yeah, like I have songs out that I made now, and I'm making beats, and I'm doing what I've always wanted to do and what I've been saying I'm gonna do, and I'm just doing it, you dig? And I'm really happy. I've actually come across, my plan right now is to just cultivate more of my sound and still study it more and practice and all that good stuff, but I really love doing like collabs with people. I love that. Like, I found this dope producer. He's called Serenity, and he's from the Netherlands. He's super fire. It was crazy because what had happened was I purchased some beats from him. I think I found him on Instagram, I'm pretty sure, and he, you know, he did me like couple extra free beats or whatever. I was like, yeah, okay. And I was putting them in Logic to see which one I wanted to, you know, see what's good with one of them. Put it in, and there's this vocal that's over it, and it's like the hook part, and it's, I find out it's in Dutch because obviously he's Dutch, Netherlands, and it was like, I can't pronounce, like no, like it's so hard. It'll be released in a little bit on a project that I'm doing, but it's so hard. And I messaged him, and I was like, yo, what is the translation to the vocals that are in this beat? He's like, oh shoot, like those are my vocals, and it's Dutch. It means like, I think it's like being in your elements, being happy, you know, just love and all that kind of stuff. I was like, yo, we gotta collab. Like, can I feature on this? Because I want it to be like his song, but I'm featuring on it, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I want like all that credit to him because his voice is so hard. This is such a great example of like, you literally never know what's gonna happen in life, because his sounds, like within his beats and stuff like that, they vibe like really well with like kind of like a concept that I have right now. And the song turned out like pretty good. I still have some more edits that I'm gonna do to it, but ooh, let me tell you, I was like, yo, like it's always by chance, or fated, I guess is what you could call it, because I guess, you know, like the way I look at it is like, you could, for sure, you gotta put in the work. You gotta like hustle and grind and be ready so you don't have to get ready always, because you never know. Always gonna be opportunities coming up. But like a huge percentage of it is like, it's all magic. Life is magic. I always say that. And it's chance. So like, you know, you never know when you could pop, or when someone could hear it and they could, it would just like resonates with them, and you're meant to meet, or, you know, you literally never know. So much is chance. So that was a really cool moment. I'm super happy about that. You know, as that progresses as well. Excuse me. I got this, this drink with this big ass straw in it. Like, doesn't fit the cup. It's goofy. So from a vegan spot in Atlanta, baby. Anyhow, to be real, I kind of forgot what I was talking about from the very jump. I think I was talking about being alone, maybe. So, long story short, I've been making music. I'm gonna preview it. But really what I wanted to talk about was This is open for everybody, any age, whatever the case may be, because you have feelings at different ages, whoop-de-whoop. But I really want to focus on like my generation of like the 20-year-olds, especially like the teens, obviously. The teens to like early 30s, something like that. Because these are very, very interesting times, and like a lot of it's like pretty trying. Like you go through so much in life in general, but I've noticed so many people talking about the topic of being alone and sadness. And I actually have been feeling that super, super heavy. I would say like June, even more so. But honestly, I've been feeling that way my whole life. And I'll get into that. So it begins for me with my childhood and how I was raised. I'll keep it like a buck. I had like a very, very like abusive childhood, I'll say. Drugs, all that kind of stuff. Like just was not an ideal environment for a kid. And you know, like the situations that would lead up to it would definitely, I noticed that I've broken, or I'm still on the track to fixing a lot of it and improving my life in a lot of ways, but it would make me feel like I wasn't good enough. I would never fit in. Nobody loved me or cared. I would always feel like I have to constantly like prove myself and like prove my love to people, and you know, whoop de whoop. It's never the basis of my true heart and intent is I'm an Aries, so I'm always gonna be like a childlike kid, you know, and I always see the optimism and positivity in everything, and I want everybody to be good and like and happy, and you know, like literally live in their life purpose and just feel it, you know. I always want people to be inspired and inspired by themselves too, you know. And you know, it would be like people do me dirty, hurt people, right? But people would do me dirty, or situations, or another thing I would actually just thought about this is like subconsciously, right? The pain that I have and the idea that I have in my head is I'm not good enough, or like I'm not loved. So I would subconsciously choose boys or just relationships with friends, situations, whatever. I would choose those people and those things subconsciously, and I would carry out the relationship even though I knew they were not good to enter into. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm such a kind heart. I want to see the goodness in everybody, whoop-de-whoop. But I would then be done wrong, or whatever the case may be, and I would prove to myself that, oh, I am not good enough and nobody does love me, and look, now I'm abandoned again. You know what I'm saying? By then, from the very jump, being abandoned, then therefore I continue to have cycles where I abandon myself. I also involve others who would abandon me. Now, isn't that a trip? That's like a little snowball effect, you know what I'm saying? Life is trippy. And a couple podcasts ago, I talked about Young Thug. I love Thug. He talks about he wants to be pure with his intent, live in purity and honesty. So that means being pure to thyself and also others as well. And sometimes it's like a hard thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's so much into it, and my brain has like 20,000 like tabs that pop up, you know what I'm saying? I'm always like boop boop boop. I even lost track in this podcast already, and I think I did just now too. Ooh, babe. But I want to live in purity, and I also want to do that for myself. And I've noticed that I had that epiphany that was recently. I said, I've always heard and known this thing. If I would have loved myself from the jump and just fully been me 100% confidently, you know, happy with me and all that. Granted, it was hard because the way I grew up, I have had to learn how to do that. But think about like my future me now compared to then. If I would have done that from the jump, I would have been like so much more me. Like I would have just lived in my truth, my honesty, my purity, you know what I'm saying? And that's a really, really hard thing to do. It's sometimes, honestly, anything is only as hard as you make it, because we all have the thoughts in our head. My favorite quote, I think, for this like time period in my life that I've found: why do you keep yourself in prison when the door is wide open? Why do you keep yourself in prison when the door is wide open? It's an interesting thing, right? If only one, obviously many as well, would know and could know and realize and see how magical they really are, how magical this is, your brain, your body's living, something's working to keep you alive, you know what I'm saying? You're here on purpose. That's what my spiritual guru, Mr. Christian Bradley West, says. You're here on purpose. If you could only realize how important that is and how much magic you have. Now, in terms of being alone, feeling alone, that honestly has still carried into my life now. I've had patterns that I've repeated of, it's just that abandonment, like, ooh, that shit hurts me so bad, yo. That abandonment feeling is like, I feel so deeply already. I'm not putting titles on stuff. I'm an empath. I'm whatever you want to, like, I'm a whole lot of things, but I'm definitely an empath, and empaths feel energy. I see people's energy, their aura, I see all that stuff. I just know. It's just the universe in me, and I am blessed to be able to be connected and continuing to connect it even deeper. And like, it's that abandonment feeling hurts so bad, yo. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like that, but I struggle to this day. And right now, this is one of my biggest things as I take on my, music and just wherever my life is taking me and where I'm taking it as well. I want to be able to find my sauce, find that secret sauce recipe. Oh, you have that epiphany, right? Like, oh shoot, like, I know how I can like not feel that feeling anymore, and I know how I can love me more, and I know how I can attract the things that I want and the people that I want and stuff that's gonna be not the thing that proves to me continually that I'm abandoned, or you know what I'm saying, what I talked about earlier. I'm subconsciously choosing, therefore when the bad stuff does happen, I'm just proving to myself that yeah, I'm abandoned, nobody loves me, whoop-de-whoop, all that good stuff. You dig? And when I talked about Young Thug and that purity, is because I had that epiphany. I was like, yo, if I would have loved myself from the jump, you know what I'm saying? But I could be told that a bajillion times. I could see it, whooped, anything. But until that one day where it clicks, it's literally like a switch in your head. It's like, yo, if I woulda. From that moment, from there on out, excuse me, you're going to act and be about that epiphany that you had. Because it just takes that one thing, yo. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else. Like, it's a trip. Our thoughts and ideas and epiphanies, everything is a living thing. Like, it's wild. Creations. Like, it's a trip. So, long story short, I have been noticing a lot of people in my age, like 20s to like 30s and stuff like that, that have been saying that they're like alone, and they're sad, and they don't have anybody that they can like relate to, or they're frustrated because it's like, oh, I'm 20 already, like I try so hard and this pain hurts so deep and people don't understand that, you know what I'm saying? No, that's not everybody, but it's some people, I think it's actually a lot of people, because I feel that shit so deep. And it's, like I said, it's a process to learn and heal within yourself, that like childlike self. You know what I'm saying? And I really want people to know, our age, that life is literally what you make it. And you may feel like that, I think. I don't have the answers to it. But I notice there's so many people that feel like that. And many factors can be included into this, like the pandemic that's been going on. You know what I'm saying? 2020. Ain't no walk in the park. And, you know, it could also be things where I notice as I get older, I suppress and I don't talk a lot about my feelings as much. I'm not trying to keep it gangsta. I'm not trying to keep it... It's just really like I feel... It's almost like when you're a teenager and you think like your parents or people don't get you. Of course, people still don't get me, obviously. But it's not as like a high force. Like you start to understand more like people do get you, but they don't still, because you're completely different. But, you know. But it's like I don't know. I really don't know. I really think there's so much ways and opportunity and like perspective to look at it. Because I had a talk with one of my friends yesterday, and they were saying like, I was saying like how I felt, how I feel sad and like, you know, frustrated and blocked in certain aspects, but he really was like, yo, like you actually have way more advantages and opportunities than you're perceiving. You're perceiving the opposite of what you actually want. You need to look at things as options and opportunities and all that good stuff. So what is our age, like our depression? What is like the sauce, the secret sauce in our generation of feeling sad and alone? I want this podcast to be like where we can like DM each other and we can talk about it more, because I wish I had somebody here to talk with me about it. But I just want to give like a little like a highlight on the fact of it actually being something that many people mull over and they kind of ignore. They go their day-to-day life and, you know, suppress it or don't understand it or don't even know what the feeling that they're feeling is. Like they, you know, and I'm a little bit of everything. I think takes one to know one. You know, I know I've been through a whole lot of shit. I've been doing a whole lot of shit too. And it is what it is. But what is like I think maybe we have so many options now too. I want to talk about like anxiety attacks. This comes with the options thing. This ties in. Me feeling so alone and like having the abandonment issues and stuff like that, when all I want to do is just love and like, you know, be that dope person. It's like people kind of like, people just don't know themselves. You have to grow. It's all evolving. When I moved to Georgia, I remember I had like my first, because I've had anxiety attacks before. I had like one really, really bad one because I just, as a kid, shit was just crazy. I remember it was like I was driving my mom's car and I like blacked out or whatever because I had worked myself up so much and my arms were tingly and like numb. Georgia, it happened. It's actually happened like a couple times. So bad to the point where I literally have thought that I was dying. My heart was racing so fast and like mentally I was like, I'm out of this world. You know I'm out of this world though, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, ooh, whoa, what the fuck? I thought I was dying. And I had to go to like the ER because I don't know, like I was like, yo, what the fuck? But I've talked to a handful and plenty of other of my friends and age group, my peers. And they've had the same thing. They're like, yo, like I literally feel like I'm gonna die. Like I have to go to the emergency room. Like I literally have such a bad anxiety attack. And it's like it's that anxiety too, like, you know, like you're scared when it happens after. You want to like kind of chill for a little bit, like being out in public, because you don't know like maybe your triggers, or if there is a trigger, or like what the shit is even, you know what I'm saying? And one second. And yeah, like it's like going out in public, like, yo, like I'm so scared that I'm gonna like do this, because it's like, you think it's so easy to flip a switch in your head, but it's such a crazy feeling. And it's like you don't know, like I've used like lavender oil, I've used like peppermint, I've tried to breathe and just tried to only think about certain things, but it's like my whole mind just like kind of like switches sometimes. It's like, yo, like anxiety, like I feel like I'm gonna die. Like honestly, I don't know if it stems from me feeling like I'm alone, because I've talked to them too, and it varies from person to person, to be honest. Like my best friend, that's happened to her before too, a lot of times, and it's just more just like, yeah, it's just weird. It's just a weird thing. I don't know. I'd have to do like do some more research, but this is just off the top of the dome. So, but I want to bring these topics up because I know people feel them, and I think it's super, like, we gotta like talk about stuff like this, you know? Look at all the advantages that we have. I got this camera right here, I got my laptop, I got this mic, I got my mouth, my eyes, my ears, my brain, all that. I have so many ways that I can get out there and like talk and help people, and we can all like connect, you dig? We're in a revolution, darling. And the revolution is being televised, darling. But I want to like, I want to connect more with people. I want my people to feel good and feel like there's like an answer to it, and feel like it's not going to be like a thing that lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? Obviously nothing in life lasts forever, but sometimes you just get in your head, you know what I'm saying? And it gets really hard, like when you get older. I'm noticing it now. Like I try to latch on to my friends, because a lot of them obviously are still in Florida, right? And I try to latch on and see them as much whenever I really can, you know what I'm saying, and talk to them and connect. And I want us to go up in our careers all together, you know, same vibe, music, all that good stuff. And I try to latch on to people, or also try to push myself away from people. Because obviously, yeah, like I want people who, I like to find, I want me and other people, but excuse me, it's not always gonna work like that. But, you know, true, genuine people. I know what I'm looking for. I know what my soul is connected to, and I know it. Ooh, excuse me. And it's hard to find that, you know what I'm saying? Things like that take time. And it gets kind of like lonely. You know, not kind of, it gets lonely sometimes, because you get in your head. I gotta keep busy all the time. What is this? What is this feeling? But I was talking to my mom today, and not everyone's gonna understand this. I still really don't have like an explanation for it, obviously. But I remember when I was a kid, and I would just feel like I was in like a meditation session. Like I felt like I would just like meditate, and I would feel like I would always want to be like traced back in time to like before I was born, and I wanted to know like what my higher self, like I wanted to find my purpose and know it, so that I was like, long story short, I remember sitting on my floor in my granny's kitchen in front of the fridge, and I was like, yo, like I know that I'm going to be a lone wolf in this life, but I have a huge purpose in this life, and I'm going to go through many trials and, you know, like sadness and stuff like that, but I'm gonna come out like I would just kind of like predict that stuff for me, because it's somewhere inside of me, I just feel that. And I was talking to my mom, and I was like, yo, I think I have to remember my soul purpose. I still don't know it, but I feel it a little bit. I know I'm gonna be like a loner. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a boss. I'm my own self. And I have to realize that about myself, and I have to continue to keep myself on the right path, and do not let anybody or anything try to forcefully and unwillingly, all that, don't try to take me off my path, because it ain't gonna happen. I'm well protected. And I want people to feel that too. I really just want people, my people, to feel inspired again if you're feeling uninspired. If you're feeling lost, you know, me too. I don't got the answers, but, you know, let's talk about it. You dig? Let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on with everybody. I don't know. I guess from here, I'm going to put in a little music preview, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna upload this on YouTube. And anybody who listens to these, you know, it's gonna continue to expand, but I would love if you guys, you know, say what's up. Tell me, you know, what you think. Tell me what you need to hear. Tell me, give me questions, you know, just connect. Let's talk about this stuff. Because as you may know, or may not know, or if you can already tell, your soul can read my soul. I'm an open person. And